Like nowhere else in the world, in the Outback with heavy loads. Let us know in the comments if you prefer a normal truck or these awesome trucks. And give the thumbs up to support the channel. Can we get 3,000 truckers thumbs up? These trucks are awesome and the heart of Australian transport. However, sometimes things can go wrong. Keep watching to learn more about these awesome trucks. A road train, or land train as some call it, is essentially a monster truck made for the open road, but bigger, longer, and heavier than anything you've seen before. We're talking about a combination of multiple trailers hitched together to one powerful semi-truck. It's like your average truck on steroids, or better yet, on a whole bunch of steroids. In Australia, where distances are so vast and the terrain so rugged, road trains are essential for transporting everything from cattle to construction materials. These trucks can stretch up to a staggering 175 feet, 53.5 meters long. To put that into perspective, that's longer than a football field, by far. And while that may sound crazy, it's exactly what's needed to transport goods across the Outback, where traditional transport methods just won't cut it. So how do these monsters stay running, you ask? Simple, with sheer power. Road trains are typically powered by heavy-duty engines. Think Freightliners or Kenworths that can produce up to 600 horsepower or more. But that's not the only thing driving them. You've got multiple trailers connected by converter dollies, which give the rig extra axles, making them stable enough to haul over 200 tons, yes, 200 tons, of cargo at once. This beast of a machine can cruise at speeds of up to 100 kilometers per hour. And while that may not sound very fast, don't forget it's hauling an insane amount of weight across treacherous roads. Handling something this long and heavy requires precision and a whole lot of horsepower. Now let's talk about the brave souls who get behind the wheel of these behemoths. The driver's cabin, or the command center, is where the magic happens. You might think that a 200-ton truck would come with a tiny, cramped, and uncomfortable cabin, but you'd be wrong. Comfort is crucial when you're driving across the Australian Outback for hours, sometimes up to 21 hours at a stretch. Truck manufacturers like Kenworth and Freightliner know this, so they've designed cabins that are as cozy as they are functional. Think air conditioning, because the Outback gets hot, like really hot, comfy sleeping areas, and all the tech a driver needs to navigate those long hours in isolation. These drivers need to be at their best, and a good cabin helps them stay sharp for the long haul. Ever wonder how a road train actually comes together? It's not just a simple process of hitching up trailers and calling it a day. Road trains use converter dollies, which are like extra axles placed between each trailer. This unique setup allows for much longer combinations than what you'd typically see on roads in other countries. It's this system that gives road trains the ability to stretch up to 175 feet, 53.5 meters, without losing maneuverability. But don't let the extra length fool you. These rigs still need a lot of space to turn. When a road train makes a turn, it's not just occupying its own lane, it's probably taking up your lane too. So if you ever find yourself driving near one of these monsters, give them plenty of room, unless you want to be flattened like a pancake. When it comes to loading and unloading, road trains aren't just a one-man operation. These rigs often transport goods across some of the most remote areas on Earth, so the process has to be quick and efficient. Loaders have to be precise when stacking goods onto these massive trailers, and the logistics behind unloading can be a challenge when you're dealing with such immense weight. This means that drivers need to be not only skilled at driving these long machines, but also at managing the logistics of their loads, whether it's cattle, mining materials, or fuel. And if things go wrong, you don't just call the tow truck. Help may be hours or even days away. It's a whole other level of responsibility. Are you still curious about the dangers that come with driving such an extremely long truck? We'll get to that point in a moment. If you haven't given us the thumbs up yet, do so to support us. A road train's fuel consumption is not for the faint of heart. These behemoths are constantly burning through fuel, and since fuel stations can be few and far between in the Outback, Refueling becomes an art in itself. On some routes, road train drivers can cover hundreds of miles without seeing a single gas station, so making sure the truck's fuel tanks are full before setting off is crucial. With fuel costs high, efficient fuel consumption is a must. Road trains tend to carry huge fuel tanks, with some trucks able to carry up to 800 gallons of fuel, enough to keep them running for hundreds of miles before they need to top up. Driving a road train requires a specific set of skills that go beyond the regular trucker. The length and weight of the vehicle make it tricky to navigate turns, especially on narrow roads. Add to that the fact that road train drivers often drive through remote areas with little to no support, and you can see why it takes years of experience to handle these trucks safely. A road train driver must know how to manage not just their truck's size, but also their fatigue. Driving for 12 hours straight is not uncommon, and managing sleep schedules becomes as critical as managing the truck itself. In fact, the Australian Road Train Association recommends a maximum of 14 hours of driving per day, still a grueling feat by anyone's standards. Australia's road train laws are pretty strict. A road train cannot just be any length, nor can it drive anywhere. Regulations dictate the maximum length, weight, and speed of road trains, particularly on public roads. However, private roads, such as those owned by mining companies, don't have the same restrictions. On these roads, some road trains can exceed the typical length limits, creating some of the longest trucks in the world. Road trains aren't just a unique Australian phenomenon, they're also a crucial part of the country's economy. With much of the nation's population located along the coast, road trains are essential for moving goods like livestock, fuel, and mining materials from one side of the country to the other. Without these massive trucks, Australia's remote regions would be isolated, and many industries would grind to a halt. Of course, with great power comes great responsibility, and with great length comes great risk. Road train drivers face all sorts of dangers, from tire blowouts at high speeds to rollovers in high winds. These risks are amplified by the sheer size of the truck, which can cause catastrophic damage if anything goes wrong. One of the most common dangers is load shifting. When a heavy load starts to move or shift within a trailer, it can throw the entire road train off balance, potentially causing a rollover. These massive trucks need to be driven carefully with a constant eye on the stability of the load. So, what do you think? Would you ever drive one of these giants across the Outback, or would you prefer to stay safely in your own lane? Drop a comment below to let us know. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more wild content like this. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. See you on the road, hopefully not behind a road train.